I want to present today is quantum entanglement between the Chinese Taiji and Nanoscience and exchange from Taiwan. It's very interesting topics. I think every Chinese knows this. What is Taiji? In the beginning of the world, by the Bible says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with Word in the beginning. And say again, in the beginning, God created the sky and the earth. The earth was empty and no form. And God said again, there will be lines in the both of the sky to separate the day from the night, and then they serve a sign to mark sacred times and days and years. And let there be lines in the both of the sky to give light on the earth. God made two great lines, one for day and one for the night. We know the universe is beginning about 13.7 billion years ago from the Big Bang, from singularity, and everything is created from that time. And it's very interesting that the Milky Way is similar to the inside of our brain. So everything is very interesting, have the similar height. In China, there is a philosophy Bible named Book of Way, or Book of the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu about 2,500 years ago. And the Lao Tzu say, ways that can be spread out cannot be eternal way. Name that can be named must change with time and place. We know must change with time and place. Okay, and the emptiness is what I call the origin of heaven and the earth. So the origin of the world is emptiness. And this is Lao Tzu and the book of the Tao Te Ching. And the Tao Te Ching says something about the creating of the world or the universe. Its thesis is what I call the mother of everything, that had a birth. Appreciate emptiness that we may see nature of the ways possibility. Appreciate existence that we may see the extent of the way possibility. Therefore, emptiness and existence came from the same source. So we can see that the emptiness and the existence came from the same source. This is the Book of Yi, a famous book we made philosophy Bible in China. The Book of Yi or Book of CHANG say in the system of Yi there is the great ultimate. It generates the two modes. The two modes denotes yin and yang. The two modes generate the four forms. The four forms generate the 8 trigrams. The 8 trigrams generate the 64 diver battery. Okay, this is Taiji and the 8 trigrams. And this is the word Yi. The Yi in Chinese can separate by two parts. The upper side is sun. The downside is the moon. The sun means yang, or day, or male, or night. And the moon denotes yin or the female or negative or the dark. So we can see a word, it denotes the nature of the universe. Okay, where this Taiji came from? About 30 years ago, a Greystone culture site had been found in China. Here are 13 Greystone on a plane. And the sun projects its light over this Greystone on the round plate. And if we record the projection on the round plate, we can have 34 points. Okay, so these 34 points denotes the 24 points denotes the 24 seriality in a single year for Chinese. And this is the origin of the Taiji. Okay, so the Taiji had 8 triggers. It was created by triple time by duality, yin and yang. And we have 2 properties in this map. We can see inside the Taiji, we have the yang and the yin, okay, the 2 parts. And we have 8 triggers, 乾、兑、离、震、巽、坎、艮、坤. And it denotes the sky, the marsh, the fire, the thunder, the wind, the water, the mountain, and the earth. And it denotes as well the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there were 2 properties. First one, the upper side, the trigrams, we can see, for example, the sky and the earth. You can see its sign is opposite. And another one is the sum of the opposition trigrams. The sum is 9. For example, the sum of the sky and the earth is 9. The fire and the water sum is 9 too. So it's very interesting. And of course, this picture is similar to the national flag of Korea, South Korea, but it has some difference. Okay, in the Taiji and the trigrams, here are something probably very important. First one is empathy. So weight can be spread out, cannot be another way. Means that can be then must change with time and place. And empathy and the extensions came from the same source. One, everything in the universe following the single formula. The sky, the earth, everything in our world or in the universe following the universal formula. Two is mean duality. So everything has 2 parts. When something is bent, it's ready to be put straight. When a container is empty, it's ready to be filled. So everything has the duality. In order to fold, must first unfold. In order to weaken, one must first straighten. In the financial market, we can see one very important property. That is return, anything, investment. Here we can have return and the risk. And the return and the risk is instance in the same time. So everything have the duality property. How about 3? The Tao birth to the 1. The 1 gives birth to the 2. The 2 gives birth to the 3. The 3 means heaven, earth, and the mankind. That is our world. The 3 gives us all things we know name. So in the domain we know there are 4 grades. Men who know the Tao is one of them. The great man emulate the great earth. The great earth emulate the great heaven. The great heaven emulate the great Tao. The great Tao emulate the nature. And what we have in our world, here we have 5 phases. That is wood, fire, earth, matter, and water. And here we have 2 interaction. The first interaction is generating interaction. For example, the wood generates fire. The fire generates the earth generates the metal generates the water generates the wood. And if we cross one, we have the overcoming interaction. For example, wood overcome the earth, the fire overcome the metal, the earth overcome the water, the metal overcome the wood, the water overcome the fire. So this is Chinese mean what we have in our world. Okay, this is wave particle duality in the quantum world. And we can find in the macro world or in the micro world, here we can see anything, something similar. That is the duality property. In the macro world, this is two black hole engagement in entanglement each other by the Hubble telescope. So we can see 2 black holes entanglement each other, but they cannot melt together. Anything in the universe, we can see everything is entanglement each other. And in the macro world, for example, in the electronic world, we can see also everything has the entanglement property. So the Buddha said, we was what we think. With our soul, we make the world. And in the West, like Greg said, to see a world in the grain of sand and a heaven in the wild flower, or infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. That is mean in the macro world or in the micro world, there are something similar. And this is James said, the universe is in materials, mental, and spiritual. And we can see something experiment have found that denotes entanglement everything. For example, this is entanglement experiment for water by Mazuzu in Noto in Japan. If we label the water, we can see the crystal will be different. Okay. So, for example, this is labeled by Angel. Devil, go ahead, give yourself head, like. So the water crystal will be different. And this is another one experiment. But this is for the organic. This is two measurement. They will be entanglement each other. And this is 100 measurement experiment. Okay, so we can see universe, macro world or in the micro world, that everything can be entanglement. So consciousness creates our world. We can see a two-fish map, two-fish picture that is very similar to the Taiji. So this picture, like Taiji. Okay. So in the conclusion, we can see entanglement everything in the micro world or in the macro world. So this is what I want to talk about today. So because the time is up, and any question? Welcome to country if you are interested. Okay. So welcome the next reporter. Okay.
Thank you.